Hi, in today's video you're going to meet interdisciplinary artist Suzanne Northcott in her studio in Fort Langley, British Columbia, Canada. She's going to be telling you a little bit about her sources of inspiration, something about the stages or states of her creative process, and a little bit about the important role that community has in her creative life. I hope you enjoy the interview. Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much for Suzanne for welcoming us into your studio space and for agreeing to be the first person that we're talking to as part of the...
I didn't know I was the first.
You are the first. Well, the premiere issue, the launch of Out of Your Mind.
Cool.
So
I think that's a good fit.
So, first of all, I wanted to know if you could tell us a little bit about some of your major themes and media that you worked with over the course of your career as an artist.
Well, as you know, Nance, I have done a lot of things over the arc of my career. I have worked a lot with painting and drawing since the beginning, 30 years. I have friends that I met in beginner's watercolor here in Fort Langley 30-something years ago. And I have changed mediums as subjects that I've become fascinated with have called for that, or maybe something in my learning curve calls for something different, and so it tends to go that way. So I work with, as well as painting in all different mediums, not so much oil lately, but I may go back to it. A lot of mixed media with acrylic and drawing media, pen and watercolor when I'm traveling, and video and sound. Actually, a lot of the sound that I've done, I've worked with people that are experts and worked with sound designers. So it's when I'm doing installation, then I work with sound. So installation and some kind of crazy stuff, like I did Dream Room, which was an installation.
Awesome.
Yeah, an installation of I was doing my yoga teacher training and I was studying dreams as part of that. I was writing a research paper, and so I like to be, when I'm working on what is going on for me. It's pretty integrated. So I installed my bed down in the gallery, my beautiful Chinese table bed down in the gallery, draped the walls, and did this process that I was doing through a 6 months period of waking up and writing my dreams in the night. So instead of writing them in my book, I was writing them on the walls. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so
and
the exhibition actually developed over the course of the weeks while you slept in the gallery.
So I had to have, instead of an opening, I had an awakening at the end, and
that's great.
Yeah, it was good. It was really interesting. It was really disappointing for some people who came and said, "Where are the paintings?" and fascinating for other people, and sort of pushed the envelope a little bit.
So what would you say then really inspires you to create? Where do you get your inspiration from? You talked about the fact, and I think it's a very interesting point when you mentioned that the subject, the idea that you're working with, sort of dictates what medium you express it in. So can you talk a little bit about that?
I was thinking about this, knowing that you were going to be coming today. I was thinking about where is there a consistent place that inspiration comes from. And I mean, I've thought about this a lot over the years, but I just sort of thought about it brand new, and I think there isn't a consistent place where the inspiration comes from. A lot from the natural world. So I have an experience, like a lot of us do, where I'm out in the world and something stirs me. I get a feeling of being stirred by something in a way that seems new to me. So there's a feeling of it being a new noticing, and I have a sense that there is a call. There's a call that I can hear sometimes, and I hear it by that's what it sounds like, is this kind of stirring feeling. So that's what happened when I did my big project at the Surrey Art Gallery that was Crossing Boundary. I was seeing this river of crows each night as I came home from teaching, and in a particular setting, in a particular way that was stunningly beautiful to me, and it made me wonder. So I wondered, you know, why is that so beautiful to me? That's often a question that I'm asking. Why is that so beautiful to me? And why is it so moving to me? Because it's very rarely really apparent.
Yeah. So
and
it's
often not for a long time.
Yeah. So it's a real sense of curiosity.
Curiosity. Yeah. I want to know,
Yeah.
and it's something new. And then other times, inspiration comes sometimes from a dream. Like it comes almost like a vision. It's like paint this, and it's like a fully realized thing, and it's very compelling. Those instances tend not to have as much follow through. Like it doesn't turn into a series. I'll paint the thing. It quite often has a lot of power, more power than the work I've been doing before and after. But then the work that I try to follow up with seems forced. And so I don't know what the difference is with that. Other times it comes from strong emotion. So times when I've been really distressed and I am painting for my life. You know, I'm just trying to get through, get by, to survive. And so I paint it out. And that seems to be a very strong way to do work. It seems as though it points out to me that in a very particular way that making work is transformational. I start from a place of deep distress. And then it's just like, wow, look at that. You can't come out of work the same as you went in.
Yeah.
You know, you're changed by making work.
That's wonderful.
So.
Yeah. Now, would you say, I mean, since you have worked with so many different media and approaches to making work, from representational to abstract and working two-dimensionally and with installation, regardless of subject matter or media, do you find that there's a process that you go through regardless of those things, like part of your creative process that's consistent through that?
There are things that, it's one of the reasons that having been making work for a really long time, it's easier to stay sort of sane, because there are these kinds of states that come with making the work, and some of them are not comfortable, and they're not, you know, maybe you feel kind of wacky, and so over time you kind of know, oh yeah, this is that's happening.
Process.
Yeah, this is that's happening. So there is the kind of the inspiration stage that you were talking about. And then there's a fascination kind of a stage maybe where I want to know everything about that. So Crossing Boundaries is one of the ones where I spent 3 years working on that body of work, so I can think very clearly about that. I can see it quite clearly. And the bog work as well. I can see that process quite clearly, where I just want to put myself in front of that which is fascinating me with no idea. And that's a really important part of my process, is to just put myself there. If it's an observation kind of a thing, which sometimes it is. So with the bog work, there's a lot of direct observation. I'm taking photographs. I'm right there taking the photograph. With the Crossing Boundary work or other pieces, there's a whole body of understanding that's I'm trying to think of everything about that. So maybe it's the migration of the crows, maybe it's their nesting, maybe it's their family behavior, maybe it's their iconography, or how they stir me symbolically, or those kinds of things. But often I'll just want to be there. So I'll just go. It was about the roost where they all go, so I'll just go there. And then that's where the work comes from, is just being there. And the bog work, that was probably clearer than ever. I would go into the bog with this feeling of, I'm going to the bog. And I'd get there and I'd have no preconceived idea at all. And that was a very instructive process, because I would get there and I would know that something was going to happen. And
it's a lot of trust.
It's a lot of
involved.
trust.
Yeah.
And it's actually